past few months I've been working on a small local multiplayer game for my game design exam at Digital Arts and Entertainment. Kind of like a game jam, we had a constraint and a theme, and for my assignment the constraint was every action, including movement, consumes the same currency, and the theme was order and cleanliness. So we had to make this game in Unreal Engine 5. During the idea generation I first came up with a simulation game, but that was kind of difficult with the one currency, so I changed it to a local multiplayer kind of battle game. I started by completely changing the default template we got. The movement was with a completely different key layout, so instead of WASD at the time I used WESD, which is in a square layout. This was kind of the main feature. The main problem with the game was that it had to be local multiplayer, which since I didn't use Unreal before, was quite a challenge. I expected the process just to be copying the player. That was what I would have done in Unity, but in Unreal there's a whole system with character controllers and player characters and stuff like that. It was completely new to me. So because of these difficulties I kind of delayed the multiplayer parts and started working on the UI and the test particle pickups. For the UI I first went with a health bar style over the player. Then I changed it to 4 bars at the top, but then when I realized that I was gonna make it a keyboard game, I changed it to 2 players and they each have the same bar and they can fill it proportionally to the amount of dust. At the same time I started working on the dust pickup system. The dust particles themselves were based off a tutorial from our teachers, and then I also made an ice platform. This basically was just when you touch it you move forward and you can't really control your vacuum cleaner. So during this time I also kind of had different ways to control the vehicle, and the original idea was to have a realistic one where you control each wheel using using the keys, so you can move one wheel in a direction and it would go to the correct side. But then after playtesting I noticed that people didn't really like it. It was counterintuitive, so I inverted it, and even though it's not really realistic anymore, it's more playable. But at the time the project was a complete mess. I tried out a million different ways of implementing local multiplayer, and with all the different kind of versions of Unreal and the project we got, I was very confused, definitely since we didn't really use I didn't use Unreal before. So I decided a week before the exam deadline to restart the entire project. So basically let's do this all over again. So on Monday I started with recreating the first player movement, but instead of controlling both players with the first player controller, I decided to have one main controller that controls the others, which was kind of something I came up with on the spot, and it worked out great. The main feedback I got was also that it was very unclear how to control the movement. A lot of players were using WASD, while as said it was the other. So I decided to put the controls on screen at all time, that way it's very clear. One of the biggest problems with the original game was that the bumping was very unpredictable because it was basically a bug. So I completely reprogrammed it using dot products and stuff. So and now it's a bit more satisfying, but it's also very sensitive. So this was kind of the process of me learning Unreal, and I'll definitely use it in the future for different projects, and I hope I'll see you then.